So the sales job that we're doing as we're playing with you here, especially in the beginning of this day, there are a few things that we really want you to accept from us. And we will do our very best to convince you. And usually we are quite convincing because our knowing is strong. You are vibrational beings. Most of you don't know it. You are told about your vibration. It's indicated to you by emotion. Because the larger part of you can never get away from. The larger part of you, you're not dead or alive. You are alive and alive. The larger part of you is always offering this vibration. So there's always a signal that's being offered. And you, as you are focused and conscious, you are offering a vibrational signal as well. So there is always this relationship between the two vibrational aspects of you, which are indicated by your emotions. The better you feel, the more aligned you are with who you are and all that you have become. The worse you feel, the more out of alignment you are with who you are and who you have become. And that really is all you need to know. Now we get it that you get it. And you get it that we get it that you get it. In other words, we all get it that we all get it. In other words, you get it. We know that you get it. But practicing it is something else altogether, isn't it? Practicing it is something else altogether. And do you know why it's hard for you to practice this, to put it into action? Is because you have become one of many who de-emphasizes your emotions. You don't let your emotions count for much. You don't realize that anger really matters because it's an indication of vibration. When you are in your vehicle driving down your freeway and you're steering and you get off onto those bumps on the side of the road. Esther plays with Jerry with the bumps on a pretty regular basis. It always gets his attention. No wise person would ignore those bumps. In other words, when you're on the bumps, you're close to the bar pit. When you're on the bumps, you're either veering into the oncoming traffic or veering over into another lane. Those bumps are indicators to let you know you're not doing with this vehicle what you mean to do with this vehicle. So when you feel the bumps of negative emotion, it's an indicator to do something. But so often you don't because it's entertaining to complain. Or because you're making a damn good point that someone needs to get. You're mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore, and it's high time that someone else feels as bad about this as you do. There are all kinds of reasons, but mostly it's because you don't realize what's going on. You don't realize that negative emotion indicates resistance in your vibration. And resistance in your vibration means you're slowing down your vibration. And slowing down your vibration means you're not up to speed with who you are. And not being up to speed with who you are prevents you from being who you are, from feeling who you are, from manifesting who you are. But most of all, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to not be who you are. Why you put up with that defies the logic of source energy, we want to tell you. No one here can figure out why any of you would be willing to complain rather than praise when praise feels so much better. Why you would be willing to hate rather than love when love feels so much better. Why you would be willing to deprive yourself of well-being, of vitality, of clarity, of wellness when wellness and clarity and vitality feel so wonderful. And we know you do it because you got a habit of doing it and it's hard to break habits. You do it because law of attraction enables you. Now we love law of attraction. Law of attraction makes the world go round. Law of attraction is what causes those of the same vibrational frequency to come together. Law of attraction is the most powerful manager ever imagined. Law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn. Law of attraction is the bomb. Law of attraction is everything. Law of attraction is everything. But law of attraction will enable you to keep a negative thing going. Because if you're thinking a negative thought, law of attraction says, here's another one. And as you add that one, law of attraction says, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more. Because law of attraction does not focus you. Law of attraction responds to your focus. It's up to you to focus. It's up to you to decide. It's up to you to be determined. It's up to you to make a decision. It's up to you. It's up to you to focus yourself into the alignment with that which you are. Now, we're not trying to talk you into being more than you are. We're wanting you to get up to speed with who you are. Because we know that every little bit of negative emotion that you feel ever is for one reason only. Who you really are, because of all that you've lived, is vibrating at a higher frequency than you are allowing yourself to vibrate at right here, this red hot minute. A few years back, we wrote a book with the best title ever given to a book. Ask and it is given. And it was speaking about exactly that. Because when you ask, even with a soft preference, the vibrational part of you, the non-physical part of you, the source energy part of you, the God force part of you, doesn't just answer the request, it becomes the vibrational equivalent of the solution. So if you've got a problem, the solution is there immediately, because you can't have a problem without asking for the solution. You can't have a question without asking for the answer. And in this magnificent universe where you ask, source answers, where you ask, it is given, that's what's happening. So when we say to you, do you know what you're wanting? And some of you say, well, I don't think I know it in the fullest. I just know that right now this chair is not as comfortable as I would like it to be. Or right now I know that I wish my kids were behaving better back home, where I locked them in a room and said, I'll be back. Be good. But we want you to know that there is this amassed vortex that not only knows what you want, but is what you want. It's the vibrational version of all that you have been requesting that has already been amassed, and all cooperative components have already been drawn to it. Do you know that for everything you want, cooperative components are immediately available? That's why there can and should be immediate manifestation of the things that you want, because when you ask, it is given vibrationally. But there is this lag that happens with so many of you. We've been giving the buffer of time the credit for it. In other words, we've been saying to you for a long time that when you want something, there is usually a buffer of time between your identification that you want it and the showing up of it, the manifesting of it, the actualization of it in your life experience. But we want you to know that the only reason that there is that lag is because when you launch your preference, when you amend your desire again and again and again, as you do all day, every day, you are usually not up to speed. You're not a cooperative component to what you're asking for. And the reason that you are not, sometimes, often, usually, a vibrational match to what you're asking for is because you are so what is oriented. You're so deciphering the present manifestation. So when your present reality shows you something that you want, most of you are still so actively involved in explaining what's wrong with the present reality that you prevent yourself from being a cooperative component to what you are looking for. You know, a question has a vibration, and an answer has a vibration. But the vibrational difference between the question and the answer is a big vibrational difference. A problem has a vibration. A solution has a vibration. But there's a vibrational variance between the problem and the solution that keeps you from being a cooperative component to the solution. So it's really interesting thing to see that when you ask for something, immediately the source within you, we call that your inner being, the whole of you, becomes an immediate vibrational match to what you're asking for, and law of attraction gathers the cooperative components to it, so there is an immediate attraction of everything that you are asking for. But if you're still beating the drum of what is, I don't have enough money, I don't know what I'm going to do, I've never had enough money, I don't know hardly anybody who has enough money. As you beat the drum of what is, you hold yourself vibrationally apart from what you are really wanting. Now, the best news in all of that is every time you do that, you can feel your vibrational discord. So what are your emotions anyway? Your emotions are your indicator of the relationship between the frequencies in you. So you were source energy before you came into this body. That's a frequency. You are a point of consciousness here in this physical body. That's a frequency. There is a larger part of you still non-physically focused. That's a frequency. And those frequencies are playing off of one another, and that's what emotions are. So when you feel elation, you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That means the thought that you're thinking right now is in total agreement with the thought the source within you thinks, you see. Well, we can't say it to you any more clearly than that. Now, let's play together if you want to. We are eager to chew with you about anything that is important to you. And our value here to you is to help you to feel in a more obvious way your vortex connection. In other words, our value to you is to bridge you from where you are vibrationally to who you really are. And so it is our expectation that you will feel relief as you move that way. Whether you come to the hot seat or not, whether you are listening in, whether you are watching in, whether you're sitting in this chair with your eyes closed, or whether you are fully participating, whether you visit with us verbally or not, we are aware not only of who you are, but of all that you are in your vortex. And we can feel the power of that which you're reaching for. In other words, you have highlighted solutions all over the planet. There is a powerful calling of solution and answer. But the most important thing to understand is, friends, we know the answers. We have the solutions. But to you, you got to say, big hairy deal. Because if you're not in the vibrational vicinity, it doesn't matter how clearly we speak it, how clearly we spell it out. If you're not in the vibrational vicinity of the solutions that we are highlighting, you can't hear it. So this conversation that we have just had was all from our understanding that as we remind you who you really are in these very general terms, that you will release resistance and rise to the frequency of that which you are. And that's what's taken place already. You are in closer vicinity to your vortex than you usually are. You are in closer vicinity to the solutions than you seek than you've been in a very long time. So we're going to have a great deal of fun here together. And what you are going to notice is all kinds of ahas are going to begin to occur to you. You're going to feel smarter than you have felt in a very long time because you are vibrationally up to speed with the solutions that you have been looking for. You are following? So just be playful about it. There's nothing serious going on here at all. All that's happening here is that we are together in the process of assisting one another. We are helping you to come into alignment with who you are and what's in your vortex. And will the manifestation come? Yes, indeed it will. But we're trying to distract you from manifestational scrutiny. Because when you need to see it right here, right now, and you don't, now you're focused upon the absence of it. And when you focus upon the absence of it, it's an entirely different frequency than the presence of it. So now you're not a cooperative component. So if just for a little while, we could get you to be looking for the emotional manifestation. And that's a valid word, emotional manifestation. Because when you feel an emotion, it happened. It's real. It got you in your gut, didn't it? When you feel emotion, isn't it a reality? It's an indication of vibration. So as you feel an emotion, understand that that emotion is an in-the-moment reality that you can take to the bank, to the vortex. It is delicious to come together with those like you who are coming more and more every day to know who you are. We've enjoyed this especially today because you came into the vortex with us and in large part knew what we knew while we knew it. Did you feel how smart you felt?